Hi, and welcome to my post-game reaction of the Eagles versus Packers. Now, if you're here for my music reviews and that sort of thing, I do apologize. I should have a new review out no later than next week. I do apologize for that delay. Now, as for the actual football stuff, before we get into the game, there's something a little serious that I want to address, and I know that a lot of Eagle fans don't want to hear it, but it's something that definitely should be said. This is more of a serious topic, and that is the dirty play that Derek Barnett did in the first half. I mean, there's no debate about it. The play was blown dead, first of all, making the hit unnecessary as it is, and then he just comes in with helmet-to-helmet contact, and Jamal had to be carried on the stretcher. The league has said that he wouldn't get suspended, though I know this is something a lot of Eagle fans don't want to hear, but I very much disagree with the league on this. I do think he should have been suspended for, I'm not sure what time frame it would have been, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, but I'm pretty sure some people would argue that I'm being too light on the punishment. I was just sitting there out there as a possible starting point, because at the end of the day, what Barnett did it was first of all very classless. Second of all, it just makes you look like a punk, and it also very poorly represents this team. And I feel like there should be consequences for its actions rather than a fine. And also, sadly, this just shows how hypocritical the NFL is with player safety. They'll give a crap if you're a quarterback, but if you're any other position, it's just like, nah. After all, the quarterbacks are their money makers, and if you're not a money maker for merchandising and such, then they're not going to care about you, but care about your safety. It is kind of BS, but that's the way the NFL goes. And for the record, I do know how suspending Michael Bennett would screw over the Eagles tremendously with how many injuries they are. In fact, currently at corner, they're down to only 2 healthy quarterbacks, which is just wow. I do hope that Jamal Williams has as quick of a recovery as possible, because that's just something you really hate to see. And shame on Michael Bennett. Honestly, shame on him for what he did, and I really hope that one way or another, if the NFL doesn't punish him, hopefully the team does for what he did. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the game itself. The offense was doing much better this game than last game, partially because they ran the ball. Shocker, right? I mean, it was a really good running game, honestly. If I had to grade the running game in this game, I would probably give it an A+. Both Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders were just on point this entire game, plus the run blocking was really good. And the Packers kind of couldn't do anything about it. That was really good. The passing attack in this game was a little better than last week. However, there were still a lot of drops this week that does have me a bit concerned. I understand that Alshon Jeffrey probably isn't at 100% just yet. However, it's still, I would say it's a slight improvement. I would probably give the passing game like a C or something like that. The defense this week was, to put it bluntly, the running defense was pretty good. I would give that a B. Actually, no, an A. Because Aaron Rodgers was actually the leading rusher for the Packers last night, and passing defense gets an F, or actually I would say a D, since they did have somewhere around there, probably a D. I mean, yes, you guys will probably bring up that the Eagles did hold the Packers offense not once but twice in the fourth quarter. However, I'm going to remind you that is right after the player that was constantly burning the Eagles secondary was out for the game with appeared to be a toe injury, and I do hope he's okay. I think it's a turf toe injury, but Avonte Maddox was just getting burned all game by him. And as soon as, he was out of the game, it's just like the Packers kind of just like didn't know what to do. And they just kept on making bad decisions. So, yeah. Though, thankfully, in the fourth quarter after, he went out, the Eagles did actually step up. So, at least I have that to say. And then there was also that strip sack fumble thing at the second half, at the end of the second half, first half, sorry, which was a good moment as well. I was trying to say second quarter. I don't know why I said second half. I'm dumb. Special teams, there was a really good return by Sanders as well. That was something really positive to talk about. And this game was also, I should mention, this game was horribly officiated on both sides. There was penalties missed that should have been on the Eagles. And then there was that pass interference in the first quarter. And then there was also the fact that there was an incomplete pass that should have been called. It's like, how do you miss that crap? The ball clearly bounced on the ground and then into his hand. It's like, I don't know. I mean, the most logical explanation you can have for this, and this is going to sound completely ludicrous, is that when the pass interference wasn't called, the referee was like, oh, I'm starting the Eagles defense in secondary and fantasy. And then right after the fact, when he had the pass that should have been called incomplete, he's like, he just realizes oh snap, I'm starting Aaron Rodgers in fantasy too. I don't know, I know that's a very ludicrous and just downright insane explanation, but that's literally probably the best one that I could come up with as to how such a ludicrous thing could have even happened. This win is definitely more of a Pyrrhic victory for the Eagles at this point. And the reason for that is because, yes, we did get the win. However, we did lose even more players, especially on the defensive side. And I do hope that Maddox is okay. He did tweet before this video that he should be fine, which is really good. He had to be carried off in the stretcher in the fourth quarter, so I'm just really glad that he is definitely all right. What else is there? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, terrible officiating. And terrible calling by the commentators. I don't get why we constantly have to have Joe Bucks commentating on a team that he clearly does not like at all. But yeah, however, I'm not one of those people that would chant Joe Bucks sucks during an injury. And I was not happy with the way they handled the injury on the broadcast. Just kind of constantly dancing around it. And with that being said, sorry. I'm sorry if this is a little more jumbled than what you're probably used to with sports videos. I was going on about the Pyrrhic victory. We lost some key guys, so who knows how our depth is going to be going into the next game, especially on the secondary side of the ball. I mean, this is assuming that the Eagles don't do some deal for Jalen Ramsey that's apparently still on the table, though I'm not getting my hopes on it, and I have a feeling if the Eagles do it, it's going to be a massive significance cost. So the good thing about this game on a Thursday night is that the Eagles do have more time to sort of rest and prepare for the next game, which is about 10 days away. So that's definitely good for this team. Just that chance to rest and hopefully have more players be ready for next week, especially Deshaun Jackson, who is going to be coming back next week. Yeah, and then the other thing I should mention that I have not mentioned yet is the very terrible play calling by Jim Schwartz, our defensive coordinator, which, dude, blitzing every play is not going to work. It's just not going to work. Your defense was getting torn up all game, and you're just going to call the same blitz every single play. And shocker, there were plays that actually worked when he tried to mix it up and wasn't blitzing. I mean, we get that the Eagles like to put pressure on defense, but you shouldn't be blitzing every single play because you will get picked apart by an elite quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, who, credit to Aaron Rodgers, actually had a good game tonight. And then Carson Wentz had a really good game too, despite some of the drops his receivers made. He didn't have, I think he was 16 for 27. Let me double check this, because I should probably double check this before I say something of a stat that's completely incorrect. Yeah, 16 for 27, 160 yards and 3 touchdowns, so he did have a pretty solid game. He also had another moment where he just improbably escaped what would have been for pretty much nearly any other quarterback in this league a sack, which was, again, I mean, no matter how many times you see it, it's pretty damn impressive. Also, I should mention the stats of Jordan Howard having 87 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, and Miles Sanders having 72 rushing yards. So yeah, a lot of love going around on the running back side. And with that being said, I'm going to end this off with, of course, every Eagle fan's favorite jam, the fight song. Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory. Fight, Eagles, fight, score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, but not too high because that would cause concussion and that would not be good for player safety. And watch our Eagles fight. Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles. That's all I have to say for this one, and I would like to thank you for watching this video, and as always, I will see you in the next one, and thank you, and I hope you all have a great